But are they about to add the best striker in the world to their squad? Because listen to this for breaking news. Erling Haaland's move to Manchester City close to completion. The striker has informed Borussia Dortmund that he will leave the club at the end of the season. The release clause on his contract is 75 million euros, according to Sky Germany. Manchester City CEO Ferran Soriano informed Dortmund boss Hans-Joachim Watzke last week that City are ready to activate the release clause. The clause stipulates that Haaland's transfer fee will have to be paid in one payment, unlike many of the other top transfers that happen in several instalments. Some details are still to be finalised for the deal that expect to be announced later this week. So later this week, Dortmund's last game of the season, that is on Saturday at home to Hertha Berlin. Let's get some immediate reaction. Sue, let's come to you first of all. What do you make of that news?
Real positive for Manchester City, isn't it? We saw last summer that Pep had come out and basically said he wanted a striker, went all for Harry Kane. It didn't work out in the end. You know, whether they were looking at different options, I'm sure they were, but obviously the main talking point from us was, are they going to get Harry Kane? But he clearly wanted a striker, and you can say that Manchester City do very well without a striker, all the different players that can play in that position and the way that they rotate. But you just think, to add Haaland to that squad, would that take them to the next level? Would that take them to the Champions League, which is something that they want to add to everything else? Will they be competing for the quadruple next season? Is he that missing piece? We know that he's such a sought-after player. So, yeah, it's real positive news, I think, for Manchester City. OK. Stephen,
let's get your thoughts on it. And tactically, what does that do to City?
Well, it gives them that focal point up front. It gives them that ability. I think he's the type of goal scorer who finishes the chances that maybe they don't have that fox in the box, if you like. I think the deal stacks up in terms of, if it's 75 million euros, so roughly 67 million pounds. If you were to pay Harry Kane, or pay for Harry Kane, 150 million plus his wages, which was talked about last year. Now, Haaland will be on substantially a lot more wage-wise. We're talking in around the £500,000 a week bracket. That's what's being touted about. Now, you look at that and you think, but he's, with his age of, 21, 22, you look at that and you go, well, if he stays beyond the 5-year contract, if he signs a 5-year contract, and they extend his contract, they're then not paying, again, another transfer fee. Whereas Harry Kane at his age, when that contract finishes, you've got to then go on and spend another £100-odd million to buy another player. So as much as it's a huge transfer fee and huge wages, it stacks up long term. It gives them longevity of a player who's immense. My only concern with Haaland is his record since he's left Leipzig on the injury front isn't great. He has had a lot of injuries in the period, in the time that he's been at Dortmund. Now, Manchester City will argue the case that they've got an incredible medical staff facility, what it might be, and they will get to the bottom of that. But that is imperative, that you've got a player of that value who you're playing cannot sit in the treatment room at certain times of the season, because he will be needed for that Champions League push, for the Premier League push, because next year will be, and we say it every single year, it will be more competitive, because Liverpool will get better. They'll be as strong. Chelsea will improve once all the ownership's out the way and everything. Ten Hag will come in and look to improve Manchester United. So you can't afford for a player of that value to drop out.
What does it mean for Jesus, maybe? Sterling even? Mahrez? Does this mean perhaps inevitably they need to offload a few of those very talented, very gifted players?
Possibly for financial fair play. That will come into play as well. I think from Jesus' point of view, I think he's had an incredible sort of second half of the season, more so since that Liverpool game where he scored, and it gave him the belief again. He's been on a great goal-scoring run. Will he look to go to Arsenal for talk's sake? If Arsenal were to get in the Champions League and he saw Champions League football there, I think it'd be a big pull for him to go there. Knowing Mikel Arteta, knowing the way he likes to work, the style of football, I think it'd be very difficult for him to stay, because he would become a bit part player. You've also got to think of the World Cup ahead. You've got to think of the World Cup. He's got to be playing games regularly, scoring goals to stand a chance of going to the World Cup for Brazil, and he'll definitely want to do that.